Hello juniors, and welcome back to Computer Systems and Programming. For this video, we're going to be going over what is code and why Python. So, in this presentation, we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to talk about what is computer programming. We're going to be talking about what is coding, and then we're also going to be talking about the power of programming, popular languages, which will explain why we're using Python, and then we'll talk about best practices while coding. So, first, what is computer programming? Computer programming is a way of giving computers instructions about what they should do next. These instructions are known as code, and computer programmers write code to solve problems or perform a task. So programming is taking a goal or objective and writing a language that a computer will understand in order to streamline the end goal. Think about other things that you could write a program for. You could program your DVR to record something while you aren't there. You could program the bells to ring at a certain time. So that's all programming is. It's just you have this goal, have bell ring at noon, and you use a computer to streamline that process. So let's get into computer programming. What is the goal? The end goal is to create something that could mean anything from a web page or a piece of software or even just a pretty picture. That's why computer programming is often described as a mix between art and science. It's technical and analytical, yet it's also creative at the same time. Programming is supposed to take repetitive processes and make them more efficient to complete tasks, such as running games, running through long lists of data. So how is programming a language in what it does? It's because the computer speaks that language, and there's many different languages that the computer speaks, but we have to speak to it in one of its languages. And then, so let's talk about syntax. Syntax is like a bunch of rules that we have to a certain language. So in terms of programming, we also have syntax. It's similar to how English and Spanish have different ways of organizing like verbs, adjectives, nouns, and words. So how you can only put words in like certain orders, it's the same with programming languages. Programming languages have their own syntax and how they organize their code. So how we talk about, when we talk about a programming language's syntax, that's how you write it, how you say, I am Michael. You have the noun and then the verb and then the object or whatever it is. There's different syntax for that. So this is what we all just talked about. Programming is taking a goal or objective and writing it in a language that people will understand. It's supposed to take repetitive processes and make them more efficient. It's just like any language that we speak, only computers can speak it. So the order of words and rules are different for every language that we have. So we want to talk a little bit about the power of programming. Programming is so strong, and the reason we spend a whole year almost teaching it is because it's a marketable skill. It's a well-paid career. There's research opportunities, and you could just start your own business. These students are students from previous ITA classes. So when Tenzin graduated from UW-Madison, he spent a year building his portfolio on GitHub, and then he found an issue with Reddit, like the site. Then he ended up getting a job in the heart of San Francisco, using the code that he made to fix the Reddit site. So it's like I said, it's marketable. You can use the skills that you learn in this class, use the programs that you make in this class to market your skills. Pari, another student, was always interested in code since he joined ITA. He developed his skills through college, and soon after he graduated, he went to work for Intuit in Silicon Valley, which is famous for the QuickBooks tax software. So you can go really far with programming, and we just use these examples to kind of show you that there's a lot you can do, or that you can actually do very well straight out of college. You just need to dedicate yourself to learning another language. So next, we want to talk about the 2019 most in-demand programming languages. So the first one is Python, because it's an introductory programming language and it's simple and easy to read like English. So if you wanted to print hello world, this is how you'll do it. So for these slides, you'll see the name of the language, a short description, and then how you would print hello world. It's super simple code, and that's what we use to code because of its simplicity. Then there's Java, which is native to like Android apps and grounded in readability and simplicity as well. So there's a little bit more, but it kind of makes sense. Like I'm telling the system, the computer, to output, go out of it. I want it to print a line. That's what LN stands for, hello world. So that's how that breaks down. JavaScript is used for interactive web pages. This is how you'd print hello world. C++ is based on object-oriented programming, which is a bigger concept that we won't cover in this course, but you may cover if you continue in programming. And it's best for performance-critical apps. Then there's Ruby on Rails. On Rails means that it's like on a track. It helps you out a little bit more. So it's normally used for web programming. It was used in Hulu, Twitter, GitHub when they were still starting out. There's Go, which was designed by Google. It's similar to C, but has a little bit more features with it, and it's used proprietary by Google. There's Kotlin, which is designed to interoperate with Java. So you're supposed to use it with Java to kind of make stronger programs. Then there's PHP, which is used with HTML, which is websites, to help like scripting and running servers. Then there's Project C, which is another object-oriented program. It's language that adds small talk style messaging to the C programming language. So this is how you would print hello world. And then there's iOS Swift, which is Apple's programming language, which is proprietary, so you can only do it on an Apple device. So we have a couple of graphs here. There's the top programming languages. This graph is an indicator of the popularity of programming languages. The ratings are based on the number of skilled engineers worldwide, courses, and third-party vendors. So you can see Python is number 4. So we're not teaching you a language that isn't used. This is very high used and in demand. And speaking of in demand, it's number 4 for that as well. There's a lot of job openings. This data is from 2017, but programming jobs are just going to keep getting more and more because there's such a demand for all the programming needs that we need to do in this 21st century. Notice though that both of these, Python is very high on it. So it's very important that you understand that we're not trying to teach you something that's not useful. This is very useful. So that's all we wanted to talk about in this lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to learn more about any of the other programs, I can totally help you with that. Just reach out to my email, which is mwilliams24@wis.edu. Otherwise, juniors, I will see you later.